This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Well, it's not Tuesday night, but it is a Super Saturday. Happy Saturday to you, and welcome back to Ramblers Unleashed, your weekly episodic podcast, all on the wonderful world of professional wrestling. And, of course, we're missing one tonight. He's on assignment. We'll tell you what his assignment is coming up here in just a few moments. But hope you're having a good weekend. We are, 4 days away from Christmas. Cannot believe it. So let's introduce let's introduce the Ramblers here. J-Bone is on assignment tonight. He said he's trying to figure out who has the better burger. Is it Culver's? Is it Hardee's? We're not going to even count McDonald's. Is it Freddy's? Is it Whataburger? Who has the better burger? Okay, I'm kind of interested and intrigued on what his study will find, but with that being said, let's introduce the man right next to me, the man that is higher than a 747 airliner jet, whatever the hell, our resident happy guy whose catchphrase is and will always be Baron, please.
999.
Yes,
how we doing, folks? How's everybody doing out there?
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, golfers, clap for the one and only Baron. Baron, you doing all right, buddy?
Doing good, man. You know, I thought I was going to have a few things to say right off the rip, and then you started with the burger shit, and now that's the only thing that's going to be on my mind for the next hour, even though I just ate some pizza. 2 hours. 2 hours, yeah.
Which you didn't even offer any to me.
I got to have some leftover after the show, man. I had to smoke a little bit before I got on, so I'm going to be hungry, but
I am hungry, yes.
My answer on that is In-N-Out Burger. I think that's the number one burger when it comes to fast food joints.
See, I've never had In-N-Out Burger. I don't know.
Nothing missing out, man. It's good.
I wish I mean, In-N-Out Burger, that's primarily like West Coast, isn't it?
Yeah, I think as far as it goes, probably like Vegas or
they have
Arizona.
one in Colorado now.
Oh, no shit, really?
Oh, shit. Wow. Because I've had Freddy's, I've had Five Guys Burgers and Fries, which their burgers are freaking awesome. But I don't know, man. We'll see what J-Bone comes back with, because he likes food. So I figured, we'll put him on that assignment tonight. Next up, Baron, by the way, we have your Buzzkill moment coming up here in just a few moments, too.
Love it.
Next up, our neighborhood heel, a man with more wrestling knowledge in his pinky finger than Tony Khan could ever muster up in his toy figures, and the only guy that I know that pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us. You can address him as Mr. Magus, but we call him the mighty Maximus Magus. Golfers, clap. Max, how are you this weekend, bud?
Listen, I'm great, but I'd also like to point out that not only do I have more wrestling knowledge in my little finger than Tony Khan, but there's no white powder on my little finger.
Oh, there's not. No, that's true.
Hey, but I do want to point out, we do have a couple celebrities in the audience. First off, Courtney, we love you. Then you got the great Bill. He's joined the audience tonight. I'm hoping he's wearing that sweet jacket. And then a man that loves that ass, and I mean Tyson's that ass, Deactivated Styles, is in the crowd tonight.
Bill, we try. So the funny thing is, I sent Bill a tweet on our via the Ramblers pod X account, and I didn't hear back. But Bill, if you want on, buddy, you let me know, man, because we have some TNA stuff to discuss, and it is a lot.
And our TNA expert's not here tonight.
I know. He's off testing burgers. Like, what the hell?
That's a good trade-off, like burger, and then you're gonna throw me into an AEW segment, and I'll take the burger. No.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Baron. Which do you find worse? What do you need more of the green to get through? The AEW segments that he gives you for your Buzzkill, or the ECW review?
Oh, ECW review. That's not even a question.
And here's something that's funny. I'm glad you mentioned that, Max. So I have been going back into the archives of our old show, and I have found all of our old stuff, and I'm slowly but surely putting it up on the channel for you guys to enjoy again. Like, there's a flub of the first show that we did live with Bubba, and I believe Baron was on that, and I think maybe Max might have been on the first episode.
I was going to say, I think Max was on the first episode, but I was not on the first episode. I don't remember.
Oh, well, I thought you were, man. I really thought that you were on the first episode, and I don't know. Anyway, it's up on our YouTube channel. It's on a playlist, and you can find the playlist right there on our page. But I'm slowly but surely trying to get our old stuff on there. Yes, I did find the ECW review show, so I will put those up there because it is history. By the way, speaking of history, guys, you'll never guess who I talked to last night. I sent a text to Bubba, and he says, "Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. He misses you guys." And I said, "Do you want to come back on the show?" And he said, "Absolutely not. He loves watching football with his wife." And I was surprised that he got Mrs. Bubba to watch football. I never thought that he would ever be. I would never thought that she would ever watch football. But he says, I enjoy this sport. I love football. And I said, do you have a team? He said, "No, we really don't watch for teams." I'm like, "Dude, you got to get with the Chiefs, buddy. You got to go with the Chiefs, man. 14-1. Come on."
You know, people used to tell me the same thing about the Patriots, and I didn't care about them either.
Well, I mean, I hope the Patriots beat the who are they playing on Sunday? They're playing somebody on Sunday, and I can't remember who it is, but I hope the Patriots win.
Oh, you guys know I got to stay out of football talk. I'm a
Bills.
diehard Cowboys fan.
Isn't it the Bills that Patriots are playing?
Hold on. Yes. Yeah. Patriots at Bills tomorrow at 2:25 p.m. in the only time zone that matters, mine.
So I really do hope that the Patriots win, honestly, to keep the Bills out of knock the Bills out.
So is Bubba still watching football or no? Or football, I'm sorry, wrestling.
No. Bubba gave up on wrestling a long time ago, which is okay. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah. After doing 3 months of the ECW review, I understand why.
Listen, I just want to say, Bubba, we love you. We miss you. Come do a cameo. Do one episode just to say hi. We'd love it. You know, we're not going to try and make you stick around. We just love to say hi to you and catch up.
Absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be live. It could just be backstage with all of us, but it would just,
I mean, that would work.
I'll try to get it. I'll try. No promises, but I'll try. And I'll probably have to coax them, say, "Dude, no, it won't be live. We promise."
So, all right, real quick before I get into the one thing that we haven't done yet tonight, I want to say I got a special side message for my shout out to Styles. That was very sweet of you, sir, but I try to keep it PG on the show, all right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're only a few days away from Christmas. You met the guy who is higher than an angel on top of the Christmas tree. We talked about the guy whose toy collection behind him would make any kid happy on Christmas morning. And we talked about me, the guy that would rather use my tree as a weapon than accept whatever crappy gift you're trying to give me. But you need to be introduced to the man who makes the Grinch look charitable and attractive and makes Scrooge look like Santa. The man who makes Krampus look like Fabio. The man who is on the naughty list for being too damn ugly. He is our fearless leader, Dizzy.
My mama would hate you.
Good, Max. Good one.
Mama would absolutely hate you. But yes, thank you for that. That was a beautiful introduction. Certainly do appreciate you on that.
I was inspired by the Christmas season, and I had
Yeah.
to write it.
The Christmas season is deep into your bloodstream, into your heart, and your heart's grown like hopefully 5 sizes bigger now. I hope.
I mean, if my heart grew 5 sizes bigger, I'd probably be in the hospital right now.
He might be doing more studies on you than they already are. All right. Well, it is time to ramble. By the way, Bill, check your Twitter feed. I sent you an invite to be on our show because, boy, we have a lot to talk about tonight. And, of course, we kick it off with a passing. Rey Mysterio Sr. has passed away at the age of 66. AAA Lucha Libre announced that. He was a trailblazer in the world of Lucha Libre and uncle to Hall of Famer Rey Mysterio. Born Mysterio Sr., he was born Miguel Angel Lopez Diaz. He passed away yesterday at the age of 66. And he began his illustrious wrestling career in 1976, becoming a revered figure in the industry. Although he officially retired in 2009, his passion for the sport saw him lace up his boots one final time in a match in 2023 at a global Lucha Libre event. Rey Mysterio Sr. had a profound impact on the world of professional wrestling. It's both a performer and a mentor. His nephew, Rey Mysterio, carried his legacy, initially wrestling as Rey Mysterio Jr. in WCW, then dropping the Jr. when he joined WWE in 2002. The two shared memorable moments in the ring, including capturing the WWA Tag Team Championship together in 1995. Our condolences to Rey's family and friends. May he rest in peace. And I don't know if he has the 10 bell salute on here. I don't think so, but I think I have one because we do need to ring that bell for Rey Mysterio Sr., which is sad. I mean, it sucks. I mean, like I've always said, these guys are like our superhero, so it just sucks when you hear about a passing of a wrestler. You guys talk amongst yourselves while I try to find this, please.
I mean, it is sad. I mean, though, when you've followed wrestling for as long as I have, the Mysterio family pretty well, and this has got to be hitting them pretty hard too. I mean, this close to Christmas, losing anybody is tough. This close to Christmas.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is that it's so close to Christmas, Baron. I mean, that has to hit home, man.
Yeah, it obviously, like you said, we're massive wrestling fans. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea who it is. But my condolences to the family for sure. But I can't even act like I know. Sorry.
Way to be sympathetic there, bud.
I am. I mean, like, I am obviously, but like I don't know enough to say. But I mean, any Mysterio throughout the years has been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know where the hell this thing. Max, do you have a 10 bell salute by chance?
Let me pull up my folder.
Let me see if I can find one real quick, because doggone it, I thought. See, we switched over to this new thing, and I should have thought about putting a 10 bell salute on there. My apologies to the live viewers. Let's see.
I'm gonna see if I can send this via Messenger, but I'm not sure. No, I did not say open that.
Don't worry, guys. We're live. It's all good. Let's see. 10 bell salute. Here we go. I've got one.
Oh, well, all right.
All right. Here we go. 10 bell salute for the passing of Rey Mysterio Sr. As I take off my hat here. Here we go. Rest in peace to Rey Mysterio Sr., who passed away just yesterday at the age of 66. You will be severely missed, sir, and thank you for your contributions to professional wrestling. We certainly do appreciate you, and we'll miss you, bud. Where did the Baron go?
Not sure.
I'm not sure either. I don't know where he went.
I thought he turned off his cam so he could take his hat off, because he never takes his hat off on cam, and then was gone.
No, I hit the X button on the wrong thing. I meant to mute the YouTube channel, so I didn't hear it twice.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
We're back, baby. We're back.
We're back, baby. We're back in full effect. All right, let's move on to the other story that we got. And man, I'm telling you, Saturday night's main event was massive for WWE. And fellas, the numbers are in. Saturday night's main event on December 14th didn't just deliver, it dominated, according to Variety. The 2-hour broadcast brought in a massive 2.3 million viewers, combining 1.59 million from NBC's live airing, an additional 700,000 who streamed it live on Peacock. The impressive ratings put WWE's return to Saturday night main event ahead of ABC's NBA Cup semifinal match between the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder, which averaged 1.89 million viewers. And that's not bad for a show that hasn't aired on NBC since 2008, guys. I mean, those are good numbers, Baron.
You said 2.3? Yeah, that's that's
2.3.
higher than Monday nights and Fridays sometimes. Well, Monday night's a little different now with football going on and shit, but yeah, that's really good numbers for a show that was just like a standard, basic, like, most of them are house shows, kind of. They do those tapings in the past at a house show a lot of times for Saturday night main event.
Yeah,
but no, I thought it was a good show. It was good. That's good numbers for them, I think, especially on a Saturday night when they're not doing shows normally on there.
Right. Yeah, and Max, I think the for one, of course, again, the numbers were fantastic for not only the network television side, but the streaming service as well. And with ratings that strong, it'd be really cool to see Saturday night's main event back again to blend current talent and the nostalgia that you and I both grew up with, man.
First off, I think I heard an announcement that we're going to get 4 Saturday night main events a year or something like that going forward, which that's amazing. Yeah. Especially if you combine that with the return of Jesse Ventura and he does more of the main events. But then you also got to think about the card that they put together for this. I mean, it wasn't just a slimmed down card like we've been seeing on our PLEs. This was a solid card that they put on. I don't think there was a single bad match on the card. I am a little disappointed that they did the dark match as a tag team match, or the tag title match as a dark match. You had Motor City Machine Guns take on A-Town Down Under. Mm-hmm. And actually, it doesn't say the titles were on the line, but that was, that would have been a great match for the show, too. There was not a bad match on this show.
Yeah. And Courtney said Motor City Machine Guns beat Grayson in Theory before the event even started. So that's good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy to see that. So,
and Chelsea Green, got to give a shout out to that. We talked about that. It was great to have Chelsea Green and Meechin in that final match, even though when we actually did our picks, it turned out that we had information from the future. It was great to have them to be the final 2. They deserved that nod. Chelsea Green deserves the title. And I'd like to give a shout out to Damien, who made an appearance as well, because apparently Jesse's coat is made out of the remains of Damien.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Yeah. And we had a lot of stuff happening on Saturday night's main event, and fans were left in shock after Kevin Owens' brutal post-match attack on Cody Rhodes. But it's the intense showdown between Owens and Triple H that got everyone talking. Now, new details reveal why this explosive moment went down and what it means for the ongoing feud between Owens and Rhodes. So Chris Featherstone took to Twitter and shed a little light on the situation. He explained that Triple H's physical involvement was never about setting up an in-ring comeback. He said, quote, "I was informed that Triple H's physical involvement in following Kevin Owens' post-match attack on Cody Rhodes on Saturday night's main event is only to elevate Owens as a heel, and the Cody-Owens feud is slated to continue. A Triple H in-ring return are not in the plans at this time." The chaos unfolded. Here's what happened, though. The chaos unfolded after Cody successfully defended his undisputed WWE Championship against Owens. However, celebration was short-lived. Owens blindsided Rhodes with a devastating package pile driver. That's a banned move. Medical staff rushed to Cody's aid, stretchered him out the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and fans were shook. Owens made his way backstage with the championship in hand. That's when Triple H came out and snatched the title away from him. Actually, he just knocked it out of his hands. The two engaged in a heated face-off, complete with shoving, before referee stepped in between them to separate them. While it was a dramatic moment, sources confirmed that it was purely, again, to make Owens look even more ruthless as his feud with Cody intensifies. And this is that's good story writing, guys. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, Baron, to have some good stories on WWE. And this is a really good feud, too.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they've knocked it out of the park for the last, year, maybe two. Obviously knock it out of the park maybe a little stretch, but I mean, they've done fantastic. I'm not sure why they had to do it after the show with the KO and Triple H scenario. Why couldn't we have just done it on the show? I'm not understanding that. And didn't they take Cody out on a stretcher and everything too? Like,
yeah.
He's like seriously injured.
Neck brace.
Yeah. So yeah, great storytelling. Is Cody taking a little time off, or what's happening there?
No, I don't think Cody's going to take any time off. I do think that I thought I heard something about Cody was at the Netflix launch for Raw, or he was somewhere and he was spotted in a neck brace. So I mean, he's selling the injury, which is what he needs to do. I mean, it's like what Paul Heyman, what happened with Paul Heyman. Everybody wanted him to return, and he was selling the injury, which is what he needed to do, Max.
Yeah, I mean, you see him get hit with that big pile driver. That's what everyone keeps calling it, but that was really more of a muscle buster, if you ask me, a sit-out muscle buster.
Yeah,
muscle buster. You saw him taking out on a stretcher. You saw him. He's been seen with a neck brace since then. If he does show up at live television over the next couple weeks, I wouldn't expect him to be in-ring action ready. I would expect him to be showing up to make sure the title is still visible and keep things relevant for when he is ready to get back in the ring. And knowing Cody, let's say this incident was supposed to keep him out for 3 months. I bet you he's back no longer than a month and a half.
Yeah.
That's what he is. And not having it on TV wasn't a big deal, because we did the same thing with the Usos not too long ago. And we had the Orton KO thing out back. They're letting the fans, what they're trying to do is let the fans film some of this, and then they're putting it on their site and on their social medias to say, oh, this happened while the cameras weren't even rolling. I think it's a unique way to enhance their story by letting the fans feel like they're a part of it without letting them get too close to it. And another thing I really like about this whole thing is, who's the real bad guy? We've talked about this and how it's one thing when they do a tweener story, but this is not a tweener story. KO has a right to his feelings based on how he was treated by the bloodline over all this time. And here's his best friend, Sammy, is siding with the OG bloodline. Cody siding with the OG bloodline. Randy Orton is siding with Cody in the OG bloodline. Everybody KO thought he could trust is siding with the people that used to torment him. And it's not just here that they're doing it. You got this going on with the New Day. Who's the real bad guy here? Is it the Kofi and Xavier, or is it Big E? Did Big E turn his back on them? There's so many examples of how they are upping it and making it more relevant to our real lives that I love the direction we're taking with this. I every once in a while you have to get away from the clear-cut good guy, bad guy, and you've got to give me a compelling story where who do I root for in this?
And that's exactly what they're doing with this Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens story, because not too long ago on SmackDown, they put on they had a hell of a promo and brought Kevin Owens to tears, and you don't know who to root for. So you're wondering, you're left to your own devices. This isn't a heel face storyline that Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes are doing. It's who do you want to cheer for? Who do you like? It's who in your mind is the good guy and who in your mind is the bad guy. We've seen this. I think Kurt Hennig is a really good example of doing something of this nature, because he was one of those guys where he was really good at playing the victim, and he was really good at making you believe that he was right. And that's just really compelling storytelling from that end. So I'm really looking forward to see what we do with and it's gonna be sad when it ends, because every story has an ending, and when Cody and Kevin finally end their story, it's gonna be really sad, because this is just a piece of brilliance, honestly. Let's talk about. Go ahead, Max. Go ahead.
I think they're going to naturally segue into Cody and Orton. It's just going to flow right into that off of this storyline. So I don't think it's quite going to end so much as just kind of seamlessly transfer into a different part of this story, because the Orton thing is part of this story. It's just not Orton Cody. It's Orton KO. It's Cody KO. I see a seamless transition into Orton going for the title.
Yeah, I mean, I see that too. I'm looking forward to all the possibilities of this storyline. Let's move on and talk about Liv Morgan. She had an intense women's world championship defense against Io Sky at main event, and it had fans talking, but it was the sight of Morgan bleeding mid-match that left many worried. Baron, were you worried?
I was very worried, actually.
Well,
I'm hoping everything's okay.
Here's some good news for you.
Okay.
New details shed light on what really caused the champion's bloody nose. Now, sources initially reported that Morgan didn't suffer a broken nose during the match, despite speculation from Michael Cole on commentary. In an update, it was revealed that the bleeding wasn't even an injury at all. It was believed to be a form of piercing that aggravated the area after Io Sky's devastating knee to the face, which was a big-time knee to the face. The revelation comes as a relief to, I'm sure, Baron and to the other Liv Morgan fans who feared a more serious injury, but WWE's medical staff checked Morgan after the match, confirmed she was cleared to compete moving forward, and this means Morgan is ready to continue her reign as champion without missing any action. Baron, that's good news for you.
Golfers clap. Golfers clap.
Golfers clap.
Yeah, it's great. I was a little worried there for a while. I guess I just don't remember. Has Saturday been that long ago?
It was the 14th. I mean, it was, but
not recalling this at all. And I watched that match, obviously.
That was like 1 week ago.
Yeah, well, that makes sense now.
He's been high since then, so you know.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to be high to get through an episode of AEW, so you know.
I mean, my sources tell me that Baron was halfway to the airport when he got word that she was fine. He breathed a sigh of relief, turned around, went home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm just glad she's okay and she can continue her reign, which has been fantastic. I think whatever her and Dom have been doing is another, top 5 in wrestling right now. I think they're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Especially when you throw in the way the Judgment Day has been treating Dom and how Dom has seemingly grown a bit of a backbone and I mean, if you saw what happened after the tag team loss on Monday, Dom was like, Finn should have listened to Finn.
Yeah.
Where did that Dom come from?
Yeah.
Well, cheers to the fact that Liv Morgan is okay, and we can now live to see her wrestle again. Let's go to the desk of Max Magus, and this is kind of interesting, and this is the last piece of news that I have from Saturday night's main event, but it was at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, and they had fans fuming before the action even began as doors to the venue remain locked well past the scheduled opening time of 6 p.m. Eastern. The culprit, last-minute rehearsals running late, according to sources. Backstage, so the sources said it was very unusual that they kept the doors locked. They revealed that WWE was still deep into rehearsals as the clock ticked past the planned opening time, leaving hundreds of fans, many decked out in their favorite wrestling gear, stuck out in 20-degree weather, sparking frustration and anger through the crowd. Social media absolutely erupted as attendees documented their chilly ordeal. One fan even tweeted, quote, "Doors were supposed to open at 6. Huge long lines of people standing outside," end quote. And another wrote, quote, "It's 20 degrees on Long Island and doors still haven't opened. Fans are chanting, 'Let us in,' end quote." Videos of the chant captured growing unrest as parents and even kids and diehard wrestling fans try to get into to some warmth and waiting for some answers. So, Max, is this a common practice for a wrestling promotion to run late and leave their fans waiting in the cold?
Hey, listen, the indies are always running late. In fact, I don't think the indies ever have seen a show start on time. And if you're an independent promoter that claims your shows start on time, you're probably lying or you're putting on substandard shows. It's just a thing that happens. Now, does it suck that it happened to be 20-degree weather when it happened? Yeah, that sucks bad. The WWE is pretty good about making sure everyone's to the back when they're supposed to be so they can get the doors open. But there's a lot of people that have to prepare a lot of stuff to put on the show that you're about to watch. You got to understand that sometimes that runs over. And the WWE most likely feels bad that it ran over, and they most likely feel bad that you guys were out there in the cold. But you got to understand what the pressure they're under. You want a good show. Sometimes you got to sacrifice. I go to a wrestling show in the winter. I am bundled up. I am prepared. And I got lots of insulation. I don't feel the cold as quickly as other people do. But I still bundle up just in case there's a delay getting in the building because I learned from going to indie shows. Maybe some of these fans should check out some indie shows before they start freaking out about what's happening with the doors at WWE shows.
So who's to blame? I mean,
honestly, I don't think there is a single person that is to blame. Like I said, things happen, things run over. You want to be done on time so you can get your people in the building and get the show started, but it doesn't always work that way. It just things slow you down and delay, and that it's a fact of life. To err is human, to forgive is divine. I forgive them every time I've been locked out late.
Yeah, and to go back though, it's like, okay, I've been to a lot of wrestling shows in my life. I've been to a lot of concerts in my life, and anybody should know that if you do either one of those things, you don't go right when the gate opens anyways.
I mean,
I've muted my mic. Wait a little bit, you paid for your ticket. Indie shows a different story now. Most indie shows, it's first come, first served sitting. So, like when you're in a big show though, like don't get there until like 6:15, 6:30, 6:45 even. But it does suck that it was 20 degrees. That does blow for them. I would have been pissed as well. Don't get me wrong. But everything, and I mean everything in life runs longer than it's supposed to. But just know if you go to a wrestling show, never get there when the doors open because you're going to wait regardless.
I mean, I understand why they showed up early. I get it. They wanted to catch a glimpse of possible wrestler that was.
They wanted to pay for some $20 nachos. I'm guessing that's about the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get your nachos, you got to get your beer, you want to get your merchandise before you actually go take your seat, and it just sucks for everybody involved. So, hopefully I don't know if the WWE even reached out to those guys. I would assume they didn't. But it still sucks. So I usually don't, if I have like tickets to a concert or anything like that, I usually don't show up right as the doors open or minutes before the doors open. I'm usually there 20 minutes after or something like that. Let the crowd die down some. But
do you remember like back in the day when you actually had to stand in line for like Ticketmaster or like concerts or any wrestling event? You like have to actually go to like a record store or whatever, or do the phone, call on the phone, wait on the phone thing. Oh my God, those are brutal.
Or for us, it was go to Schnucks or some grocery store that offered Ticketmaster and or MetroTix or like a MetroTix sub whatever to get tickets for a concert. Yeah, no, I remember way before the internet.
Yeah, dude, I'm just thinking in my head, like, my God, I remember standing in some fucking hellacious lines. I remember going to WrestleMania, and let me tell you, that was a show that we definitely showed up a lot earlier than we should have, and we were out there for what seemed like a decade. And even when they used to do the WrestleMania Access, I don't even know if they still do that anymore. But I remember we were in line for 2 hours before they opened doors. Something happened. It happens.
I remember one year my buddy from high school and I were going to go buy tickets to see Broncos Jets in the playoffs. And we showed up where they were selling the tickets because, you go places to buy stuff back then. And we were like the third people to arrive. And they came out and announced that. And by the time they came out and said anything, there was a line, and they said that the way they do it is everybody draws a number, and that's the order you buy your tickets in. And we were like, but we've been sitting out here forever. We're like third in line. These people were here before us. Why wouldn't you start with the front of the line and work your way back? They're like, that's not how we sell tickets here.
That's weird.
That's stupid. What?
We still got tickets, but...
Yeah, but still, like, what?
The method of thought behind that was just kind of stupid. Honestly, like that was just kind of, I don't know how to feel about that. But we move on, and we've been talking on this show quite a bit about how Netflix will handle not only the archives but the availability of Raw when it moves to Netflix of January 6th next year. The premiere episode streaming live from the Intuit Dome in LA, but that's not all. Netflix has confirmed that it will be offering select WWE archival content starting in January, bringing a piece of wrestling history to fans worldwide. While not all archival episodes will be available on launch day, Netflix plans to roll out content gradually, which I thought that would be the case. But in the U.S., viewers can access episodes of Raw, while fans in other countries will see additional WWE archival material. So the official Netflix website shed a little light on this plan, saying, quote, in January 2025, Netflix will begin to roll out select WWE archival content onto the service. WWE Raw archival content will be available for viewing in the United States, with additional archival content available in select countries. With that being said, it was noted that Raw will be available exclusively on Netflix in the U.S. and its territories, including American Samoa, Guam, the Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and others. In addition to the United States, though, Raw will be accessible on Netflix in various countries worldwide. These include Argentina, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, and Peru across the Americas. And in Europe, fans in Austria, Czech Republic, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden, Ukraine, and the UK will also have access. In Asia and the Middle East, Raw will be available in Egypt, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Israel, Kuwait, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, Taiwan, Thailand, and Turkey. And fans in Austria and New Zealand can also watch Netflix starting on the same day. So it's a massive move for WWE because now, right as it is right now, select networks around the world carry the feed, like the Raw feed, and sometimes they have to show it the next day on network TV, like Sky in the UK and others carry Raw. For one, it will be a lot easier because it's all going to be under one roof as Netflix, and it's going to be revolutionary. I really do think that because it's gonna take everything that they're doing right now and just consolidate it into one house, and that's Netflix. And I'm kind of ready for it. Max, are you ready for this?
I'm pretty excited for it. One of the things I really love about this is the fact that if they are in the UK doing Raw, whatever that start time translate to our time, it's gonna. I haven't been a big fan of the Crown Jewels airing when they do it. But now if I'm at work and I'm at lunch and Raw is starting, I'm turning on my phone during lunch and watching Raw because that's something I can do going forward.
Yeah. Right.
Now I have seen some stuff online, some people saying that they have been informed by their providers that they will not be having access to Raw on Netflix, and they were doing the network, but it's going away for them come January 6th. For those of you that are having that issue where you don't know where you're going to be able to watch Raw, might I suggest you find a VPN and then you can set it up to where you can access, for example, the US version of Netflix where you'll be able to watch Raw.
Yeah, I mean, Darren, that's going to be the majority of what folks are going to have to do is purchase VPNs and watch it if it's not available for their country. But have you updated your subscription to Netflix?
Oh yeah, I've subscribed to Netflix forever. But it sounds to me like they're hitting pretty much every continent and most places. I mean, they're going to be in millions more households than they were prior. I mean, like, this is a huge step up for them. I'm still worried about, like, we're talking about the old archives. Are we talking like old WWE material, or are we talking like old Monday Night Raw material? Because Netflix hasn't bought out the catalog of WWE. They haven't, you know. I'm more curious to see where, like, their old archives of, like, video, you know, like, stuff is going to be at. I enjoy watching that more than anything, really. Is like going back and watching some of the old material. But it sounds to me like WWE is about to fucking kill it going to Netflix, because there's so many other places that are going to be able to watch it, and that just expands the global for, you know, like, going to do shows at these places now. That's pretty insane.
I think we were all kind of spoiled when the network came out, and we had all of this content. We had all of this old school content, WWE, ECW. Hell, that's how we watched the ECW reviews. That's how, to do the ECW reviews, we watched all those pay-per-views on the WWE network. And I think we were spoiled as far as getting all the content to us in one spot, with it coming, you know, with more on the way. And you have to think about it, man. I mean, God, they've been going at it since the 80s. That's a lot of shit to put on to one server for us to be able to watch it, you know. Yeah. And I mean, if they're gonna take all the old content from the network and put it on Netflix, it's gonna take time. But then you also have to remember they have a deal with Peacock too. So Peacock is gonna continue to carry all the PLEs and things like that, and they'll have archival content as well. Yeah. I don't know if it'll be the old stuff or if it'll just be like current PLEs, but that's something to look forward to as well.
So is it going to be commercial free, or are they going to do like some ad breaks?
I would assume because honestly, Baron, I mean, I would assume they're going to have to do some sort of ad breaks because they can't just they have to make money too.
Oh yeah.
He has to make money too. So I would assume they're going to find some sponsors. They're going to run commercial breaks, and if they're going to run commercial breaks, they're probably going to be only 2 that they'll run, and they'll keep they'll do like a picture-in-picture type of thing for us to be able to keep up with the action in the ring. Similar to what they do with AEW and what they do. Well, they don't even do it with TNA, but similar to what they do with AEW.
It's gonna be weird opening up Netflix to see wrestling. I mean, like Netflix is a great platform. I mean, they have a lot of good shit on there, a lot of material. A lot of the original stuff sucks, but like it's good for Netflix. So I'm happy for them. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to probably forget the first Monday that pull on Netflix to watch it.
It's going to bring a whole new audience to Netflix, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Max, you've got some information.
So you mentioned that's a lot of stuff to go to one server, which got me curious. How many servers does Netflix actually employ? So according to their own information, and if you pull up about Netflix, their little FAQ website about themselves, you can readily see this information there. But according to their own information, they currently operate around 18,000 servers distributed across 6,000 locations in over 175 countries, utilizing their Open Connect network to deliver content efficiently to users globally.
Okay. So, I mean, they have plenty of servers. I'm sure they're going to bring in more as the time goes on, and as the subscriber numbers grow, they're going to bring in more servers for their customers.
I'm hoping that what happened was the WWE, specifically Triple H and Stephanie, saw the Tyson Jake Paul fight and said, "Hey, you know all that glitchiness you guys had? Let's talk about the WWE Network and how we fixed it over there." So hopefully going forward, we have a better live streaming thing going on with Netflix.
I hope so. I really do. I hope that there's but how many people tuned in to the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight? I mean, it was like 50 million.
Yeah, numbers that WWE will never see in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I don't think you're gonna have too many issues, but I hate to say it. It doesn't matter what streaming service you're on, man. Hulu, Netflix, Peacock, any of that live shit, it's always choppy. At least for me, it is. It's wild.
Well, I mean, it also depends on your ISP too.
Yeah.
How many? What's your data? What's your cap? How many megabytes are you pulling? Do you have a gig? Do you have, it just depends on that. I mean, preferably when you're streaming, it's 20 meg. You need 20 megabits or higher to be able to stream and watch it without any buffer.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume that, it's going to be just like, and if you have like DirecTV Stream, or if you have Hulu Live TV or YouTube TV or anything like that, and you're streaming already with no problems, you won't have any problems streaming Netflix or Raw on Netflix or anything like that. So, because it's like streaming a live event on YouTube TV or any of the other carriers. So I think everything will be fine as far as that goes.
So I went and got you some numbers for the Tyson Paul fight.
Okay.
Styles, this might interest you because it involves Tyson's bare ass. The Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight was viewed by over 108 million people globally, making it the most streamed sporting event ever. The fight peaked at 65 million concurrent streams, with 38 million of those in the U.S. Total viewers, they had an average of like 108 million live viewers globally, like I said. The fight was the number one title on Netflix for the week with 46.6 million views, and the fight generated over 1.4 billion owned impressions across Netflix's global social channels.
Which
God damn, 108 million people got fucked over watching that shitty ass fight. Like, God damn, we're a bunch of fools, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, imagine for the first time you got your first television. We're talking, whenever TVs came out, the first fight they put on, it was a Jake Paul versus Tyson. Could you imagine that's the first fight you ever got to watch boxing wise?
But damn, you know what? Props to their fucking marketing team, because damn, did they promote the hell out of this? And they did a very good job for 108 million viewers.
That's a classic WrestleMania bout, like Hogan, Andre. You know what I'm saying? Like, you put two big names. Jake Paul's whether we like him or not, the Paul brothers are big social media influencers. There's no way around it. And then you have Mike Tyson, one of the most famous athletes of all time. So,
which, I mean, you think about how they promoted it. They did such a bang up job promoting it, and then we got the fight that we got, which absolutely fucking sucked.
But you know what?
Were better than the main event.
The previous fights actually made it worth it for me. The main event sucked, but at least I had some good fights leading up to it to make up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, and I've watched boxing for many years of my life, getting to that main event fucking sucks.
But it just, honestly, you have to think about how many people subscribe to Netflix just to get that fight. And not only did they have buffer issues, but the fight was just terrible, and then they're like, well, I want my money back. And Netflix says, no, we're not going to do refunds, which, it sucks for everyone.
Hey, listen, whether it sucked or not, you just spent what, $10-15 for what used to be a $60 pay-per-view? You should count your lucky stars that you got it for $10-15.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, boxing back in the day was literally $60. I remember like 70 at sometimes, depends on who was fighting. Remember paying for pay-per-view for fucking wrestling?
Yeah. I mean, look at AEW's prices. They have $54.95 or $54.99 for AEW, and that was $10. So yeah, I mean, you got quality with $10 versus 50, 54, 55, whatever with AEW. But you have to think about how much TNA would charge if they didn't have their network, So it just. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. Max,
it was amazing boxing bout, just an absolutely amazing fight. Barry Monkey.
Max, are you back?
That was weird.
That was weird. You just kind of froze up and then just left the call. So
I jumped over to YouTube to send that reply to Bell's Boy.
Yeah.
I clicked back over here and it says, oops, lost connection, reconnect him.
It says that to me from time to time if I go to a different tab. I don't understand.
Netflix.
But yeah, I'm gonna be really curious the first month. I wonder how many subscribers WWE pulls in. I don't think they're really gonna pull in much. I think most people, I know Dizzy, you said you don't have Netflix, but I think most people have someone in their family that has an account that they share.
My mom has Netflix,
and I'm sure you could. They've changed the rules on it.
There's ways around it, but they have,
Yeah.
But let's switch over to some AEW news and keep on the numbers topic. The viewership figures for the December 18th episode of Dynamite on TBS have been revealed, and this is sure to lead plenty of conversation among fans, which is usually the case pretty much every week with AEW. So according to sources, this week's show drew 625,000 viewers with a 0.19 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. This marks a slight increase in viewership from last week's episode, which attracted 594,000 viewers with a 0.17 demo rating, which we talked about last week. This week's episode of Dynamite saw an iconic match between Will Ospreay and Darby Allin. Mercedes Moné successfully retained her TBS championship against Anna Jay, and many other moments that took place throughout the night. And honestly, Max, I'm just going to say this. I would assume that the ratings increase was due to MJF because I believe he was on that show too.
I mean, anytime you have MJF in a room, expect the ratings to go up. The guy is one of the hottest things that AEW has going, and it's smart that they use him as much as they can.
Yeah.
Adam Cole is great too, and if you have him around, he might help out. But I think overall, what you need is compelling stories. You need better written stories, better exploding rings. But yes, MJF is a big part of getting the ratings up.
I can tell you that that the promo between MJF and Adam Cole tonight on Collision, which I forgot they were at the Hammerstein Ballroom, Baron, was actually really, really good. And I'm with Max, man. Anytime MJF is on a program, the ratings seem to bump up because he is the hottest thing in wrestling right now.
He's the hottest thing in AEW. He's good. We brag about him on the show all the time. I think he's great. I also think he's also not. Here we go. I also believe that whether he's on the show or not, it's the same exact ratings week after week. I'm not seeing this massive increase because of one individual. He is great. I love him on the mic. He's in the wrong company. He should be somewhere totally different. Even maybe TNA, I could throw out. We can go on weeks all day about AEW, but he's fantastic, man. He's always been great on the mic.
Yeah.
Good in the ring too.
He's really good in the ring. I mean, overall, he's a great talent, and
he's their number one guy. Like, there's nobody else in my mind that's even remotely close to being on his level. Why he's not, holding that title for as long as Roman Reigns has, is kind of weird to me. Because like, he is by far the best person on that entire show, and I don't think there's a close second.
Right. Yeah. Let's move on. Ricky Starks has been in the conversation of wrestling, and he's a big topic right now, and fans aren't sure if he'll ever return after being absent since March 30th episode of AEW Collision. But Starks remains absent from TV, and it appears that Max Caster recently told Starks to leave AEW once and for all. So Ricky Starks left fans puzzled with a mysterious message on Twitter recently as he shared the words, "Keep it up," along with a photo of himself sitting thoughtfully with his fingers resting on his face. So Max Caster saw what Starks had to say and decided to choose violence as he took to Twitter and told Ricky Starks to leave AEW, saying, quote, "Just leave my company already," end quote. Naturally, Caster's remark didn't really sit well with fans, as Caster simply loves to stir the pot and start controversy on social media when targeting Ricky Starks. It's definitely not surprising considering his tendencies, but it certainly did give him some criticism for his remarks. Fans did for that. As for Starks' future in wrestling, the former FTW champion recently announced that he will make his debut at House of Glory's Final Warning event on January 25th in New York City. And this came after he was pulled from several GCW shows earlier this year following controversial remarks by Effie about Tony Khan and his father Shad Khan, and led to a ton of backlash from that as well. So, Max, where do we see Ricky Starks going? Does he go back to AEW or does he stay on the indies?
Here's the thing. I think he's still part of AEW. I just don't think AEW is choosing to utilize him right now. And I think that's a problem. And I think, listen, do you know why WWE is so controlling over its people's social media accounts?
Why's that?
They don't want them tweeting. There were wrestlers that were getting drunk and just tweeting weird BS, and you're supposed to be representing the WWE, and when you're on social media, they want you to be as a character as possible, which is another reason I love MJF. He, on a Mother's Day, said I'd give a Mother's Day wish to my mom, but she's a whore, so why should I do that? Or I don't think those were the exact words, but that, you get the sentiment behind what he was saying. And that's the thing. I don't know how Max Caster meant this, okay? It is possible that he did it in gimmick, but was saying, dude, they're not working with you right now. You should go. I mean, AEW is the one that pulled him off the GCW shows. Ricky Starks had every intention to be there, and AEW said, "Nah, he's not going to show up. And we're pulling him." They don't seem to want to use him. They just don't want anyone else to use him, and that's the feeling I'm getting. As far as the Effie comments, I don't understand how Effie's comments about Tony and Shad relate to Ricky. Is that something I missed in the story, that somehow Ricky's tied to Effie's comments?
Well, because he was supposed to be at GCW shows earlier this year. Ricky Starks was, and he was pulled. He said no, or Tony Khan said no, he's not going to show up because he's under contract with AEW. And even though Effie had him booked, that's what he was talking about. And we've talked about that on the show before.
As far as I'm okay, I think I'm putting the pieces together finally. If I'm not mistaken, Effie's comments came after he got pulled, though.
Yeah, because he was supposed to show up on a at a GCW event, and it was days before he was supposed to show up, or the night before, or something like that. And he was told no, Ricky won't be showing up. That's why he was pissed. Plus, he paid him already, so.
Right, I'm pretty sure he's like, like they're with the whole Cody Rhodes thing. He hasn't really been done much since Cody Rhodes left, and aren't they like really good friends? To kind of like, just
that's what I was saying.
That's
what I was pointing out. AEW is not utilizing him for whatever reason. Maybe it's because he's friends with Cody. Maybe it's something else. But AEW is choosing not to utilize Ricky Starks right now. So he is sitting either backstage or at home or whatever, not doing anything for AEW. They're not letting him do stuff for other feds. And if Effie made his comments after, because the article implied that was why they pulled him from GCW, was because of Effie's comments, but Effie said that stuff after they pulled him off the shows. So I think somebody got their wires crossed when they wrote the story. But either way, no matter what you think of Ricky Starks, he deserves better than the treatment he is currently getting. Yeah. He's been benched for no reason that anybody can see, even the rest of the locker room. While Caster's comments may have been out of line, they may have been, for all we know, it could have been for a return of Ricky. Maybe Max Caster is setting up for a feud with Ricky Starks, and AEW is finally about to start utilizing him again. Who knows? Either way, Ricky has been treated poorly by this company and should go somewhere else, in my opinion.
Thank you for clearing that up for us, Critical Sting. Effie's comments came when AEW announced they'd be running a bunch of Hammerstein ballrooms ahead of GCW going back there, and Effie saw it as AEW harming GCW, which, I mean, I don't understand that, but Tony is a weird animal. He really is. He's such a weird animal. He's way too much in his own head, and I don't know. I don't like what Tony is doing he's playing chess. I feel like he's playing chess with his wrestlers, his employees. I mean, he doesn't need to do that, man. Like, he doesn't need to fucking play chess.
He's not smart enough to play chess.
Well, no, he's not. No, that's what I'm saying is that he's playing chess in a dumb way. Like, he doesn't know how to fucking play the game. So, and
I also want to thank Critical Sting for clarifying that, especially where he explains that the comments happened before AEW pulled Ricky, and that's what got him pulled. The fact of the matter still remains, and from what I've noticed over the last year, they have underutilized Ricky Starks for whatever reason, and I either want to know why or just let him go. If you're not going to utilize him, let him go.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Critical Sting, for clearing that up too. It's time for Baron's Buzzkill moment, and this comes to us from Jim Ross. All right, and there's no doubt about it. Good old JR is one of the most prolific and iconic voices in pro wrestling to this date, with his work with WCW, more notably with the WWE, and of course now with AEW. And JR took to his Grilling JR podcast and revealed his contract runs through August 2025. And he's hinted in the past that this might be his final deal in wrestling, but his latest comments show a renewed sense of optimism is continuing his historic career. Here's what he said, quote, "I don't have any sense of feeling that I'm going to be kept at the schedule I do. I can maintain that for years to come. And I'm not saying that in a braggadocious fashion. This is what I do. This is what I was born to do. As long as my heart is beating and I'm healthy, and right now I'm healthier than I've ever been." Now, Baron, JR has had some real health struggles over the years, and we can't ignore that. We've talked about some of those health issues on our show, but do you think JR can continue calling matches, or do you think he needs to hang up the headphones?
Yeah, here we go. It's a buzzkill moment, baby. I hate to say it, but for the last 2 years, he has not been able to. It's been brutal to listen to. Don't get me wrong, he was the voice of our childhood in the 90s, 2000s. Like, he is our voice. Sometimes, though, it's time to go ahead and just, stop. Because, like, in all honesty, he really, I'm sure he knows more about wrestling than the three of us combined. Don't get me wrong on that. But I feel as if he's disconnected with the product that he's currently on. I don't get much out of him whenever I watch an AEW show and he's been on. Like, it's just, he's always pronouncing the name wrong. It doesn't connect. And I don't think any of the announcers really connect for me anyways, but that's just me. But yeah, Jim Ross, you find you a nice lady. I know you've been looking. Go ahead, retire. But this is the problem with a lot of the older guys in wrestling, like a Ric Flair or Jim Ross or any of those guys. They don't know when to fucking just step away.
Right.
They have nothing else. I get it. They have nothing else.
Well, they
could do, but like,
it's also their pride, man. I mean,
it is
a lot of pride, and where they come from, the era that they come from, you do it for as long as you can until your body can't do it anymore, just like what JR said. And
it's never going to get as good as the 90s, JR. I hate to say it. It's just never going to be. But yeah, I think it's definitely time for him to hang up the microphone.
As iconic and prolific, and it's such a good thing to hear Jim Ross on commentary. There's got to be a time in your head, Max, that it just clicks. Like, okay, I'm just gonna retire. I've got, he's got his podcast. He can do that. If he wants to, he can do signing, like events and like WrestleCons and things like that. I have to agree with the Baron here. I think it's time that he hangs up the headphones and turns in the microphone and just rides off into a peaceful retirement, man.
So Baron mentioned Ric Flair and other older guys, and it's not just that it was the way of the time when they broke into the business.
Yeah.
It's also the fact that they spent so much time traveling and working at least one show a day, sometimes 2 or 3 shows a day, that they don't really know much else. They don't know what to do with themselves. How many times has Flair found himself in the news for doing something stupid? Since he has reduced his schedule, because for whatever reason, the man still thinks he's got at least one more match in him. But how many times has he made the news for something stupid because he's got nothing going on? They're so used to this rigorous schedule, and then they find themselves not on that schedule. Like, well, what am I going to do today? May as well get drunk and do something stupid. And not all of them are the get drunk and do something stupid types, but you're talking about, I'm so used to being this way, and now all of a sudden it's not that way. I would love to have Ross leave AEW, come back to WWE for one last match, since we are in the Cena final run starting in January.
Yeah.
Have Ross come back, call one of his matches somewhere down the line in 2025, and have that be his last commentary.
Mania. I think
it's got to be Stone Cold. The way that he goes out would be Stone Cold. Like those were like the most iconic moments when Stone Cold came out and Jim Ross was just Stone Cold. It's like
yeah.
that always hit.
Well, but I would love for it to be him and Lawler calling that match. You know, give us that one last feel good moment before Ross cuts back to just doing his podcast. And listen, I hate to say that. I mean, I can't remember a time when I was growing up where I didn't hear Ross's voice week in and week out. It was only recently in the last so many years that I don't hear him nearly as often, and it's a weird feeling to not hear him that often, you know. But give us that last bit of nostalgia this year while Cena's doing his final run. Let's put the team back together for one last night.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with
Book
that.
it. God damn it. Book it. Book that shit.
It would already be booked. Damn
it. Book it. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting when like guys like him do go. Michael Cole. I mean, Michael Cole's already pretty much stated he's leaving when he's 60, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think
I could be off page of that, but
I thought he said somewhere something.
A lot of famous voices for wrestling will be going sooner than later out of the company. So it'll be interesting to see who can kind of carry their
legacy.
Especially Michael Cole. I don't think that some bitch gets enough credit. We've always said Jim Ross is fantastic. We love him, but Michael Cole has done it way longer and maybe just a tad bit better in my mind. So I always like to give Michael Cole his props because he's fucking fantastic.
If that's true that he has stated he plans to retire at 60, that means we got 4 more years of chanting "Fire Cole."
Yeah, that's true. We're going to move on to some TNA news here in just a moment. But Max, you actually shared this last piece of AEW news with us. And this involves what frickin' Punk was talking about. Ray Phoenix has been angrily tweeting about his experience at AEW after the company added injury time to his contract, meaning the former World Tag Team Champion could not leave at the same time as his brother, Penta L0 Miedo. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Penta. We'll just call him Penta. According to Wrestling Observer newsletter, Phoenix's latest outbursts are possibly related to him trying to force AEW's hand in firing him, therefore freeing him from his contract, which could have up to an extra year of injury time added to it. Dave Meltzer says, quote, "I think right now Phoenix is looking at being fired. I've had discussions with WWE talent in this situation who came up with some wild ideas to get fired so they could go elsewhere. But I can also say that there is precedent that it doesn't work and they don't get fired," end quote. Now, according to Meltzer, both WWE and AEW forbid talent from tweeting negatively about the company like Phoenix has been doing. But Phoenix's main complaint has been that he's been forced to book appointments and get treatment for the injury on his own, which, while standard practice in AEW, has also been a sticking point with talent in the past, including CM Punk. So Phoenix's brother Penta's contract has already expired, and the former tag champion is said to be interested in to WWE. He's of interest in WWE, and both brothers were said to be favored by WWE, but Phoenix's injury time meant that they wouldn't be able to come to WWE as a package, and has been the case for most of their career. So what the hell is going on, Max?
First off, let me touch on part of what Meltzer said. It's true. We talked about this a few minutes ago, actually. And I don't know that I didn't know for sure that AEW had that same clause until Meltzer said it. You are not allowed to tweet certain things, especially if it's negative about the company, if it'll cast the company in a negative light or something like that when you are under contract with these people. So he's right about that. Is he right that Phoenix is using this as an angle to get fired from AEW? I don't think he is using it as an angle. I think Phoenix has a legitimate complaint. We've talked about this before. I can't prove that Phoenix is on the up and up, but my gut tells me he is. My gut tells me that he has tried to get AEW to help him with this injury, and AEW has blown him off. Punk is a good example, but Punk also complained about the WWE 10 years ago. They just kept giving him, what did you call those packs that they were giving him? Because I called it the wrong thing. Huh? Z-Pack.
Yeah.
I kept calling it Stim Pack, which is from a video game. But Punk said WWE just kept giving him that instead of dealing with the problem. And now we're hearing that AEW isn't dealing with a problem. I honestly think there's some truth to Phoenix's claims. I can't prove it, and until Phoenix is ready to present the proof, there is none available.
Yeah.
But I don't really trust Meltzer as far as I can throw him. We've talked about that on the show. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I cannot deny that for once he did get something right. So if Phoenix really is just using this to try to get out of his contract, he's going about it the wrong way. Companies don't look well upon you doing stuff like that, and then they just teach you anyway, and you don't get your release.
Right.
But I mean, I honestly, again, I think Phoenix is on the up and up on this. I really do.
Well, and it would, you know, if Phoenix is actually trying to get fired from AEW by posting negative comments on social media, our asses would be gone. But with our employers, our asses would be absolutely fired. There would be you wouldn't hear from them. You would just get the email or the letter or whatever saying, "Hey, you've been terminated because of what you've been stating on social media, painting us in a bad light."
Did you sign a contract with your company though?
Yes.
You did? You might actually end up having things handled differently since there's a contract involved. Now, there may be a clause in yours that says they can release you, but since there's a contract, they may just bench you from doing what you're doing and have you do something different. Me, I don't have a contract with my company. I'm doing an at-will job. So if I was out there tweeting negative things about not just my company, but the parent company, I could immediately be released. I'd probably get a phone call saying, "Don't come to work tomorrow." You know, that's the difference in between the things. If there's a signed contract, they're gonna punish you in other ways. X-Pac walked into work one time. They said, "You're gonna face so and so, and you're gonna lose," and he laughed and said, "No, I'm not." And how long was it before we saw X-Pac on TV again? They're going to find a way to punish you because you are under contract, and they're going to get every bit of that contract's demands out of you before they give you your way.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird situation, Baron, for Phoenix, and I feel for him. I really do. This has to suck. You know, whatever injury he's facing, it's got to suck. And, you know, I'm sure all he wants to do right now is get back into the ring and wrestle.
Well, you can't do that if you're injured. I mean, and if you're not getting treatment like you should, we could go on a massive rant of just terrible fucking care for human beings. But I'm gonna just not do that. But especially in the wrestling world, it seems to be a recurring problem, whether it's AEW, WWE, in any wrestling promotion. It seems like these people are not getting the care that they need. I mean, we've watched it for years, and it's a touchy subject for most wrestling fans because what are these people filled with for decades, for centuries? Filled with pills. They end up overdosing. They all have these problems. And it sucks to see that it still continues to this day. Hopefully, if the stories are true, he does get the care that he needs because, I mean, as we're all avid wrestling fans, we do know how serious that shit is on your body. So, I truly hope he gets the care that he deserves. And maybe if he is bullshitting and is a ploy to get into WWE, cool. Hopefully it works for you, but it's not going to, I don't think. Yeah. I just think, and I don't understand, is it that damn expensive to get the wrestler care? What?
I mean,
what's the problem? Because this is not the first time we've heard this from a AEW employee. Like,
I don't know what it is with that company, with AEW versus WWE. I don't know if they have like an outsourced type of thing. I know that WWE employs their own medical professionals. So I don't know if AEW is outsourcing a medical facility for their nurses or whoever to come in, or trainers to come in and work with them. Hell, maybe they're using the Jaguars personal trainers.
Well, no fucking reason they're not getting anybody healthy. Have you seen that football team? Fuck.
Yeah, right. I know.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence literally just had a massive injury here last 2-3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah.
Like season ending.
So I don't know if they employ their own or if they have just an outsourced thing. So I don't know why they're having why he's having such a hard time getting the help that he needs through AEW. And you have to think about the early territories too. They would just, if you got injured, they just give you a fucking pill and send you back out and wrestle, so we've definitely come a long way. So I'm not sure what's going on with that company. We're going to keep an eye on this situation as it develops with Ray Phoenix. And I hope that it comes to some sort of a conclusion. I wish Tony Khan would just let him fucking go. Obviously, the dude does not want to be in the company. He doesn't want to be associated with the company. And he's looking for any way to get out. This is what he's doing right now is like a call for help. It really is. And I hope that Tony Khan can just wake the fuck up and say, okay, we're gonna rip up your contract. We're gonna pretend like you've never existed. We're going to erase you from all of our programming. We'll erase you from the website. We will erase any mentions of you. We'll treat you like the WWE treated Vince McMahon when he finally stepped away from the company, and just delete him. So that way he can go off and do what he wants to do. Delete. Yeah, delete. Yes, absolutely. So let's talk some TNA, because there's a lot of shit going on in TNA. And the roster continues to see some shakeups. So sources have confirmed that Trent Seven has officially parted ways with TNA. Rhino announced his departure from TNA. Steph DeLanders, her contract nears expiration, which she's been out of action due to a neck injury. Ring announcer Jade Chung is leaving TNA amid speculations about Josh Alexander's future. They were in talks to renew her contract, and she declined, and it all revolves around her husband's future in TNA and Josh Alexander, whose contract is up in February of next year, as he eyeballs WWE. Aiden Prince has finished his role as an in-ring competitor with TNA, and his contract expires January 1st. And Kushida has officially finished his run with TNA, who joined in December of last year on a dual contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I would assume he's still got a contract with New Japan. But damn, what the hell is going on over at TNA? We're seeing tons of people leaving, and it's just weird because we just saw Trent Seven on a PLE wrestling. I don't know. I
have a theory.
I wish we had Bill here to help us, but Max, go with your theory.
I have a theory. What's our next story?
It has to do with Tessa Blanchard.
Okay, here's my theory. I'm not sure all the stuff that's happened involving Tessa at TNA. I've heard a bunch of stuff, but I'm not sure what all actually happened. I wonder if they heard Tessa was coming back and they're like, nope, we're not playing this game. And maybe that's why they all left.
I have a feeling that when Tessa, when TNA officials were talking to Tessa, that maybe they had a feeling. But then again, I just watched a video with Conan and Disco Inferno, and apparently nobody in the locker room had any idea that Tessa Blanchard was coming back to TNA.
Huh.
So this I don't know. I mean, could they have had a feeling that Tessa was coming back? Maybe it's just that their contracts are all just expiring in the same amount of time as we approach 2025.
But for that many people to decide our contracts are all up, we're just not going to renegotiate. It's weird. Right. That is a big number to have all going at the same time and not renegotiating in any way. I wonder, how long ago was it Scott left?
It's been a few months.
I wonder if this is further fallout from him leaving then, if it's not Tessa.
I wonder if that is too. I wonder if maybe that, they've rode out their contracts and just said, you know what, we're not happy with how Anthem is running this company, and maybe they're going to go off to greener pastures. But let me count here. I mean, we have Trent Seven, that's one. Rhino, we have Steph DeLanders, we have Jade Chung, we have Josh Alexander, and we have Aiden Prince and Kushida. And did I say Rhino?
Yes.
Okay, so that's 6 or 7.
And if you count Speedball like a lot of the rest of the internet does,
that's 8. Yeah, and he's on his way to he's isn't he in AEW now?
Possibly.
I don't know. I haven't seen him or heard anything from him, but it's got to do with Tessa, or it's got to do at least something with how Anthem is running their company. And thank you, Terrence.
Well, they're just not offering enough money to re-sign. Like, we got to remember, at the end of the day, TNA's TNA. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these wrestlers, might find a better contract somewhere else or get paid more elsewhere, or even doing indie shows. I don't imagine that TNA's paying crazy amounts for their contracts. I don't think this has anything to do with Tessa. I mean, to go back to what Max was asking earlier, was like, not sure. I mean, like, wasn't there like racist allegations that came from her? Along those lines? Which, like, come on, guys, it's 2024. Clean this shit up, bro. Even if it did or did not happen, I'm just speaking across the board. Please stop. So that could play a part as well into why they wanted to leave. Rhino's an old head. There's so many different variations, but I think TNA, in my mind, a little bit, roster's great, but it's also becoming to a point where it's oversaturated. So I think a lot of these other wrestlers are starting to, realize they can go elsewhere and try to find some work.
So let's talk about Tessa. Okay, so she made a shocking return to Final Resolution 2024. And she's been the talk of the wrestling world, but a new backstage details are shedding light on how her comeback was received. And according to sources, while her return went off without a hitch in the ring, the atmosphere behind the scenes wasn't entirely warm. So Blanchard, who has been a polarizing figure in the wrestling industry due to allegations of bullying and racist behavior, and let's make this very clear, Conan touched on Tessa Blanchard, and it was very early in her career that she was, doing this bullying and racist allegations. Matter of fact, he talked about her wrestling in Mexico, and she said, well, why do I have to be here? I guess her husband was there wrestling, and why does Mexico run this way? And Conan said, Mexico just runs the way they want to. This is how Mexico is. You either do it or you get the hell out. But that was back in the day, and hopefully she's gotten a little bit older, and maybe the people that she's surrounding herself with have made her come to realize that, okay, I was kind of stupid. But Blanchard has faced allegations of both bullying and racist behavior, and she made her surprise return during Final Resolution, attacking Jordan Grace in the middle of a match. The move reignited their feud and immediately positioned Blanchard as a major player in the TNA Knockouts division. However, her presence is reportedly stirring mixed feelings among talent, with some hesitation to embrace her return. Despite the divided reception, TNA's management appears confident that Blanchard's ability to elevate the division is there, but her storyline with Jordan Grace, who is reportedly on her way to WWE in January, has set the stage for what could be a pivotal chapter in the Knockouts division. So for now, TNA seems to be committed in giving Blanchard a fresh start, banking on her in-ring prowess to win over critics and fans alike. So maybe with Jordan Grace possibly leaving in January to go to the WWE, they're bringing Tessa Blanchard on because they need someone big like Jordan Grace, because I know a lot of people are over on Jordan. So it's hard telling, Max, what the thought process is with TNA.
Well, I just did a little bit of digging. First off, I want to know what the original issues were. What I remembered was there was issues between her and TNA. Like, she missed some dates or something, and they kept asking her if she was coming back. They were asking her for the return of the title. I remembered that part of it. I didn't know about the stuff that I just sent you guys a few minutes ago. Yeah. Apparently, in January of 2020, multiple female wrestlers came forward with bullying racism allegations against her, including an incident where she allegedly spit in a black woman's face and called her a racial slur. The woman in question, whose name is Black Rose, later stated that incident did indeed take place. Listen, I like Tessa, and I don't know if I'd call this early in her career. She got her start back in 2014. So, I mean, it's technically, if that was early in her career, it's still early in her career now. But that was longer into her career than we are since that incident, because that was almost 5 years ago, and she started 6 years before that.
Yeah. She actually debuted. I just looked this up. She debuted June 13th, 2014, and currently Tessa's 29 years old.
Right. Now, with the TNA thing, the original, her leaving TNA originally, with all the drama that went on, it was part of the, I admit that part of it was pandemic related. She took an extended leave of absence because of that. But then they were reaching out to her going, are you coming back? Are you bringing the title back? What are you doing? And they let her go 5 days before her contract was set to expire, which I thought was really weird. I know you're having problems, but why not make her ride the last 5 days of the contract out? But listen, all that being said, I have always liked I have always liked Tessa Blanchard. I don't like that she's done this stuff. I think she's very talented. She's a multi-generational star. I just wish she could keep herself out of the controversy on her personal side of things. I feel the same way about Teddy Hart. This guy used to crap all over the business, but he actually was here in Denver several years back doing a show for a company that I was working for at the time, and he was taking on basically Davey Boy Jr., and he put on a very respectful match that night, and he even apologized for his antics over the years. And that was the only reason that Davey Jr. agreed to take the match with him in the first place, was because he made an apology before coming to Denver. I wish Tessa could get that side of things figured out like Teddy seemed to. I don't know if Teddy's still on that straight and narrow, but he was for a little bit.
Well, I think that, a lot of this has to do with age, and maturing. And again, Tessa's 29 when she joined TNA, when she debuted, actually, it was 2014. And so she was young. She was super fresh, and she probably didn't really understand the business and how everything worked and what to do and what to say and, her contract and things like that. Probably nobody talked to her about that. I don't know. But all I'm saying is that her maturity level hopefully has blossomed more now that she's been outside of TNA, she's worked in CMLL, and I don't know, I can't say anything on her CMLL run. Apparently, frickin' Punk said it was great. I watched a video earlier today with Conan, and again, Conan and Disco Inferno talking about this situation, and Conan said that while he worked in Mexico with her, it was not a good situation, and that was when she was younger, so I'm hoping that as time has gone on, Tessa is matured more, and she's got a head on her shoulder, and knows how to work in this business.
Yeah, but you're in your mid to late 20s. Any type of bullying or racism is unacceptable, and it's it just I find it hard to sympathize.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's like Terrence said, she was 25 in 2022, or 2020, so she wasn't a baby at that point in juncture. Some people are just like that, and hopefully she has progressed and wised up or whatever the case may be. But that's got to leave a lot of sour tastes in a lot of people that work with the company.
It's going to. It's but let's face it. If we were 25 once, were we immature?
Oh, absolutely. But I was never racist or bullied anyone.
No, but you said stupid shit all the time.
Well, yeah.
As a 25-year, that's what I'm saying, is that even at 25, you're an adult, but you maybe don't mature. You're not mature. You just don't know what to say and how to be around people, especially in such a high profile thing as professional wrestling, and I don't know if she was a heel or if she was what her character was, but no, you should never ever do say racial slurs even outside of professional wrestling. Don't go out your door and call anyone a racial slur. That's just not cool. But what I'm saying is that the maturity level that Tessa had back in the day, I hope that it's blossomed some and people backstage can forgive her, especially with all these folks that we just had, the 8 people that are leaving TNA, or 9 people now, that are leaving TNA because their contracts are expiring and maybe they don't want to renew their contract now that Tessa's here. I hope that whoever had past dealings with Tessa and are staying in TNA, they can work around those problems. And I mean, it's just like CM Punk's story, though. Punk was an asshole in the WWE. He ran an absolute terror, and it took him getting fired from WWE, going to work for UFC, getting his absolute ass handed to him, saying, well, I can't be a fucking UFC fighter. I'll go back to the wrestling ring. But it took him 8 years to go back to the wrestling ring because he was fucking embarrassed after his UFC run. So he went back to AEW, and after those 8 years, he had to calm down. His maturity kicked in, and he actually got a bit of respect for this business and came back and is not an absolute tool. The only reason we saw him being an absolute tool on AEW is because AEW is a shit show. But when he went back to WWE, people have been confirming that the backstage locker room, the locker room, is absolutely more positive now with Punk there. He's seen as a leader, bit of a leader in the locker room. So it takes people leaving and then coming back to actually blossom into maturity. So I hope that's the case for Tessa.
Yeah, I totally see your point. I totally get it.
Listen, in gimmick, out of gimmick, you gotta be willing to pay the price for what you say and what you do. Your actions and your words carry consequences. Tessa got fired over her actions and words. I did not get fired over my actions and words. A Max Major story that I've probably told on the previous incarnation, but I know I haven't told on Unleashed yet. One year, it was Cinco de Mayo. I was managing Romeo, and he was the heavyweight champion for RMCW, and he was supposed to take on, I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy was in the Army Reserves and had actually gotten injured while doing some stuff for the reserves a couple weeks prior, so he wasn't going to be able to wrestle. So instead, we brought out a guy named Jesus, who was doing some of the training stuff for our trainees. And so it was going to be Romeo versus Jesus in the main event for the Rocky Mountain Heavyweight Championship. So Jesus comes down with waving his Mexican flag as part of the show because it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
You know, part of the promo that Romeo cut in the beginning, though, was he was making fun of how, the streets in Greeley, because that's where we did our show, was up in Greeley, Colorado. They're all numbered because Mexicans can't read signs with words on them. And so the show progresses. We do the main event. I ended up luring our Army guy towards the back. I had the Mexican flag in hand. He comes through the curtain. I lay him out with the flag. I come back down to the ring. I set it down up against the corner post. Romeo wins the match and looks over and sees the flag, pulls it into the ring with him, drops his pants, and pretends he's dental flossing with the flag, the Mexican flag. Well, that didn't sit too well with some of the fans. I go outside after the show to have a cigarette, and I was threatened. I was told, don't get too close to me because I'll stab you over what happened. I'm like, you realize it was Romeo that did that, not me, right? And she said, well, then Romeo better not get near me or I might stab him. So the following month at our show, Theodore Narvaez came out and demanded an apology. And Romeo was like, I'm not going to apologize for it. And I said, let me handle this. So I said, you know what? You're right. I apologize. These people have such little lives that bothered them. I apologize we didn't have more nationalities to offend last show. And I apologize that we didn't have more religious people in the audience to offend. All right. Now I've made the apology. We got our match for that night. The following month, we're doing one of our free shows. It's out at a trailer park. It's sponsored by a church. So word had gotten to the church what Max May just said at the previous month's show. So that, those little pamphlets they give out, those little rectangular shaped little booklets that they give out to people. Well, they were over there handing them out by the handful. Oh, here, take a bunch of these. Remember what Max said last month? Yeah, go deal with him. Take a bunch of these. Remember what Max said last month? Yeah, go see him. During the main event, I'm standing outside of the pool. Rowdy is wrestling against Tiger in the main event that night. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, I feel stuff starting to hit me from behind. And I turn around and I look. They're flinging these little religious pamphlets at me. Now, they know they're not allowed to put their hands on me, but they found a loophole, and I'm trying not to laugh. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was hilarious that this is what they found to try and teach me the consequences of my actions. And I told security he needed to put a stop to it. And then I whispered before I break character and actually start laughing where they see me laughing. But the point of the story is, if you are going to do something stupid or say something stupid, you better prepare to face the consequences. Yeah. At the end of the show, after it was all said and done, the wrestlers took care of me for the fans. They found me in the locker room, carried me out. I was a lighter guy back then, but they literally had like 5-6 guys holding me up above their heads like this. Yeah, carried me out to that pool and threw me in it, and the fans went nuts. Face the consequences.
Baron, I'm reminded of the heat, the actual heat that Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart had when Shawn Michaels did something similar to the Canadian flag and shoved it up his nose, and walked around with it. That was great on TV. It was a fantastic heel move, but it wasn't kosher. It wasn't kosher. But that all came full circle. Even with the Montreal screw job and all that stuff, everything came full circle when Shawn found the help that he needed and made peace later on with Bret. They had conversation and they both shook hands and they made peace. Maybe this is what the Tessa situation needs, you know?
Yeah, everybody grows up. Everybody gets a dose of reality once in their life that changes them. Many people have many ego trips. If you've ever done some mushrooms, that'll change your perspective on a lot of things. Let me just throw it out there. That's a true ego killer. So I get that. I totally do. I, however, don't foresee into the future well. I always build a case upon previous knowledge of individuals, so like, of course, I don't, bullying, racist comments are not okay. We're
not at all.
It's a totally different story when you're attacking someone based upon their skin tone. I don't care where we're at in this. So kind of all I gotta say, fuck Tessa. Hopefully she has grown up and has progressed in life, and I hope for the best. But my reflection of her is fuck her for saying those things and doing that, because we shouldn't do that. Sure, hopefully she has grown up and gotten better, but there's always still, no matter what, a tad bit of racism in someone, especially when they were racist back then. So I hope the best, and I really hope she's not the reason why a lot of people left. Terrence mentioned it, because their knockouts division needs a little help, so she will elevate that, especially with Jordan Grace leaving very soon.
I really hope that Tessa's learned from her mistakes. She can grow up. She can apologize for this, but actually show that she's not gonna do this again, and I just hope that she's grown up from this, and she can, we can all move forward and just fucking enjoy wrestling again, Max.
Here's the thing. I have been enjoying wrestling so much lately. We talked about this earlier. The storylines that have you going, oh, I can see it from his perspective. Oh, I can see it from his perspective, are amazing. This one-of-a-kind deal between WWE and TNA that is unprecedented in the history of pro wrestling. I've never seen anything like it. We have entered a golden era, in my opinion, in pro wrestling. And that's despite the fact that AEW seems to take missteps every time they turn around.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of the comments here, and like I said, I just hope that she can come out of this, come back in and have a better head on her shoulders than what she did when she was younger. She's almost 30 now. Maybe now that she's had to work some of those independents like Mexico is a hellacious territory to go work.
Yeah, if you run your mouth about them down there in any kind of negative way, they're not going to let you forget it.
Oh yeah, no, and it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. They won't let you forget it at all. And I think that I think she got a big calling. I think she got a big wake up call when she was let go. I think she was let go from TNA. So when she was let go from TNA, I'm sure she had a big ass wake up call and said, you know what, I have to get my head out of my ass before I can even think about having a career, focusing a career. And it's just like any job, you go in, you spout off some bullshit, you're going to get fired. They're going to have enough of it, and the employees are going to rally against you, and you're going to get fired, man. Like something's going to happen. Either you're going to get fired or you're going to get jumped in the parking lot, and you got to watch your ass,
Although I will admit that I seem to be able to say stuff about and on this show that used to get me I hate you, Max, but doesn't even get me that much anymore.
It doesn't, no. because I've tried to grow up, and I don't want to say that anymore. I don't want to hate anyone.
I mean, I have been gearing these introductions towards negatively commenting on your looks, and I'm not even getting a I hate you, Max, or anything like that for that. I am impressed at how well you're holding that in, and damn it, you need to stop it.
You're right. Right. Well, Baron, I'm glad you're back because we have one more story to get to, and this involves Jordan Grace's dog. Apparently, she's been getting a lot of attention from fans thanks to her pup. And not only has one of her dogs graced a commercial recently, but her other dog is going viral for another reason. So Jordan posted a video of her dog on social media acting really loopy at the vet. The caption read, "Drove 30 minutes to the ER vet, sobbing and telling her to stay alive, only to have the vet examiner laugh and tell me, well, I'll let y'all guess." End quote. The post went viral in a big way, generating over 12 million views. Grayston explained in another post that her dog, quote, broke down the doggy door, opened up the sliding cabinet, pulled out everything, protein bars, condiments, etc., ate it, and was sitting on the couch acting weird when I came downstairs, end quote. Now, the video post included an update video showing her dog in the kitchen acting much better, saying, quote, all good this morning, patiently waiting for grandma to finish cooking their breakfast, end quote. That's what Grace wrote. One fan suggested that Grace's pooch was high, and she responded with a target emoji to indicate that was exactly what was wrong with her dog. And then she posted again when someone said that she didn't give birth to her dog, so it can't be her baby. She posted a Photoshop image of her dog on a sonogram to that cynical fan. Now, Baron, you and I have both been puppy parents, and for you know, I know dogs are going to get into shit, you know, especially as maybe as a puppy or depending on how old Jordan's dog is, but that's not good, man. Like eating not only your weed stash, but getting into the chocolate and all types of that, you know.
Well, I got some stories to tell you, fellows, over the years. All right, I grew up doing dabs off a knife over a stove. I was a true trailer park boy. Okay, I grew up in a trailer court. That was my life, and I've seen it and done it all. However, I want to say fuck that fan for saying that dog is not your child. My dog is 12 now, and she's been 12 years of our life. She is more of a child than any child I'll ever have. It's like she is our baby. So fuck that fan, by the way. I hate when people do that shit. It's not a child. I get it, but I don't have children. My fucking dog is my child. God damn it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let me tell you, for experience of having my dog also eat weed and act weird, it's not good because it's actually super toxic for your dog and can kill your dog. However, I do know from being around cannabis for many years of my life and researching and studying that the dog really, I mean, like, obviously they can eat dry weed and get sick and could die. Yeah, they could die. It's really bad when the dog eats like an edible or something that's, you know, the cannabinoids have already been lit, basically, you know, at that point. And that's when it's really effective and will kill your dog very fast. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's scary. I mean, but I have seen many dogs in my life high. And I feel so bad because, you know, they're not having a good time at all. Yeah. But the chocolate, that scares me. You know, fuck. Chocolate's really bad for your dog.
This guy, he was the biggest part of my life. His name is Jax. He was the biggest part of my life for many, 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 many years. And he's gone now. But yeah, you know, Baron, that when you go and you either adopt a dog or you get a dog as a puppy or a cat even, or whatever kind of animal, man, it becomes a part of your family, you know, and you look at it as a family member because you're taking care of this animal. And it becomes a part of your home, you know. And no, dogs don't need onions, they don't need chocolate, they don't need raisins or grapes, they certainly don't need weed or anything like that, because it can't hurt them. It'll kill them. And I can tell you stories about my dog Jax that we couldn't leave him alone because he was so anxious. He'd eat up the walls and chew on whatever he could find. I had collectible WWF cookie cutters that somebody had bought me, and I had left the door open to my office where they were sitting, and I woke up and they were just absolutely destroyed because Jax ate them.
Yeah, I mean that's what dogs do, but you cannot leave that shit out because that's what dogs love to do.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the dog she's fine, that her dog's fine. Because that can be very scary, man. So I'll tell you a fucking wild story. This is one of the most expensive bills I ever had with a dog. So our dog got a hold of some gum from Finland, Finnish gum. Okay, so this gum is their gum is different than ours. Anyways, they use straight xylitol. I could be fucking up that word, but xylitol is what's in our toothpaste, so it's super toxic to dogs. Like it could kill them. Mm-hmm. So our dog ended up getting some of that gum and like got super like sick, and she spent like 24 hours in urgent care on IVs and everything else, and like she was about to die. And from that moment on, everything's fucking put up. But she still for some reason finds fucking shit to eat and drives me insane. But the weed she will not eat because nobody is eating that shit or smoking that shit without me. So
yeah, if she's gonna smoke some or eat some, damn it, if it's gonna be with you,
it better fucking be with me. God damn it,
Max. You have a bit of a different approach when it comes to animals, and we were talking about this on Facebook on our chat outside of the show, and I kind of wanted to get your opinion on this too, man.
So listen, I don't view them as a son or daughter or something like that. I'm all for you guys doing that. That's fine. I don't take any issue with that. I don't find it weird that you guys do. I mean, it's not my place to say, hey, you shouldn't call your pet your child. But what I mean is while it doesn't work that way in my head when I see our pet, it does for you guys. And that's cool. This is something we're just going to disagree on. Not really disagree. We're just not going to have the same opinion on. I see our dog as my friend, companion. He was the one that was most excited when I moved back up here to Colorado. I'll tell you that. But I sent a picture to the boys earlier. I wanted them to see Buster and what he looks like. Prior to Buster, we had a dog named Molly here at this house. I went to Alaska in 2011 for work. And while I was up there, I bought Christmas presents for the whole household, and one of those Christmas presents that I bought was a chew toy for Molly. And 3 days after I got home I gave it to her right away. 3 days after I get home from Alaska, that chew toy was gone. She had chewed through it, destroyed it. There was nothing left of it. And this is one of those, this toy will last forever. No, it doesn't. And that's Buster right there. Oh,
Buster.
Such a good buddy.
Adorable. Look at those eyes looking up.
It was not easy to get him to sit where I wanted him to for a picture. He kept trying to face the other way. I'm like, no, turn around.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's my friend. He's my companion. And part of the reason he likes me so much is because I'm the only one in the house that actually goes outside with him most of the time. I take him with me every time I go out while he's awake. And I mean, damn good friend, but
yeah, they're your best friends,
Yeah.
And that's what Jax was to me. I mean, he was my best friend. And, when you bring a dog into the house, they immediately become a member of the household, no matter what. Even if you don't look at them like your child, your kid, whatever. I don't want children. Like I came to the agreement that I don't want children of my own. But if I get another dog, and I plan on it at some point, I probably will call that dog my kid because that's the only kid I'm ever going to have, It's
that's
just
understandable.
Dogs are just like kids. They can be a big pain in the ass. but Baron and I both know that for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously, like, I get the different perspective of all that. It's all person to person. Just remember, here's what I like to tell people: at the end of the day, that fucking dog cares about you as a human more than anybody will ever understand. The moment you walk in that house and that dog sees you, you don't get that human reaction. I mean, maybe occasionally you do. Maybe your mom sees you, you're like, "Oh, my son," but like that dog, that's all you got. That the dog, you're the only thing the dog has. So, fuck, love dogs, love animals.
I love animals. Yeah.
And if I hear anybody that harms animals, I will find you. I will become the Dexter Morgan of people that hurt animals. I fucking can't stand it.
You're like what was his name? Liam Neeson? Is that?
Yes, I will find you and I will kill you.
I will kill you. Yeah.
I love my dog, but yeah, always put your shit up, man. Don't let that dog get in the weeds.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Never good.
For sure.
I have a very particular set of skills.
Yes, that's what it is, man. Like, you don't fuck with my dog, But that's going to do it for the show. That's all we got for you tonight. And thank you for tuning in. I just went to go look at our numbers. We've got 2 more subscribers. So thank you for you subscribing, and tell your friends about us and subscribe to our videos and like our content. That tells YouTube that you like what we're doing here, and pushes our content off to other people so that they can enjoy it as well. With that being said, let's give our social medias out. Baron, we'll start with you, sir.
It's not there. Scumbag Jordan with three N's on the Twitter X.
Three N's. There you go. Yeah, Max can count, and Max, we move on to you now.
Well, hey, don't forget, we got to give out our producer's Twitter handle as well.
We will.
All right. But if you're looking for me, you can find me at Max Magus. You can find my other podcast at Our Shots Podcast or random-shots.net. You can actually listen to the podcast there.
There you go. And you can follow our producers' social media pages at JBone5150 on X, or the Twitter box, as he likes to call it. You can also find him on Total Nonstop Impact with the latest TNA news and reviews. And also make sure you find his Smash This podcast posts or YouTube channel as well, and give him a like there too. For us, though, you can find us on X at The Ramblers Pod, Facebook. Just search for Ramblers Unleashed, and make sure you like our Twitch channel too, Twitch TV. Just go look for Ramblers Unleashed. Subscribe to us there. And here on YouTube, you can subscribe right here to Ramblers Unleashed. And again, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, and that tells YouTube that you like what we do. In the meantime, we will not go live on Tuesday because, of course, Tuesday is getting close to holidays. So we're going to take time and enjoy family time. So that's going to be good as we get close to Christmas. So from all of us to all of you, we hope you have a very, very Merry Christmas. And we're going to talk to you hopefully next week with about 2 weeks from now, or whatever the case may be. With more wrestling news, because after this holiday break, we're going to have a lot, I'm sure, to talk about. So in the meantime, please enjoy wrestling. Please go out and watch some independent shows and enjoy it. And until next time, we will see you later. Merry Christmas.
Subscribe.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.